Extortion and blackmail has been a topic of discussion the last week about RFK. Has he changed? His campaign message was very different than what it is right now. Is somebody, an intelligence agency, possibly holding him accountable? There's some pictures about him being naked and with the girls and all this stuff. Oh my God, that's what's going on. I think they got something on the guy. Okay, so let's think about the most basic job tasks of any intelligence agency, right? What do? Do you know what is the job description of an intelligence agent anywhere? They'll say collect, analyze, and act on information. Now that's the innocent way of saying what an intelligence agency does, but I want you to think about this. When you think about intelligence agencies, what is more powerful? You being a billionaire or you have an intel? What is more powerful and movable to get people to do what you want them to do? A business deal to make 28% a year? A business deal to make a few $100 million? Or intel to say, look what I have here on this guy here. You know how long that's been used? Many, many years. By the way, CIA agents, MI6, what are their boundaries? What do you think they're willing to not cross? According to our guidelines, HR told me don't cross the line here. I got a call from HR because I work for the CIA. You think that's the world they're living in? What do you think are their boundaries? What do you think they're willing to break? What different methods do you think they're willing to use to get information on you or anybody? And then how powerful is that? You know, Roy Cohn, back in the days, he was linked to the mob and a lot of different people. He said his favorite currency is favors. He called it a favor bank. I'm going to go to the favor bank. I'm going to use this to get a favor from XYZ because I got a favor I need from you. What do you have? Here, open this folder, take a look at it. Guess what? You're going to sign that permit today, and on top of that, you're going to allow us to build this property. You're going to give us this, with no cost. You're going to call the bank. You're going to do all of that by 5 o'clock today or else. Is that clear? Yes. Okay, great. Great doing business with you. You're dismissed. Let me know when the whole job is done. You don't think that happens or happened or is happening? Of course it is. Now, we can't say everybody's going through this or everyone in politics is going through this. However, many are. I'm going to share a story with you on how I went through this in the insurance agency with one of the biggest insurance agents in America, who was held through this in a way that was a $5 to $6 million commission on the table, how a competitor used blackmail to get the $5-6 million back to him. And we're going to break down the history of blackmail in 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, so if you evaluated this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to go through different stories: church, business, politics, military, entertainment, give you different kind of testimonies of what happened over the years. But let me kind of share with you, when you and I think about methods, edgy methods intelligence agencies use to gather intel, what's one of them? One of them is sex, honeypot. Russia used it back in the days in Cold War called sexpionage, where you send somebody, they sleep with somebody, they gather intel, they're there, he's asleep, they're looking at what's going on, they're having conversations. What do they send? You're acting dumb. Very effective. Another one is the disinformation method, which we kind of went through the last 5 years in America during COVID. We went through in 2016 election. We're going through it all the time. Half the time you're seeing information, you don't even know if it's right or wrong. You have to kind of be skeptical and questioning everything nowadays, even your favorite people, your least favorite people. Sometimes your least favorite people are right and the favorite people are not, and you got to be able to kind of go through the whole thing. Very challenging to do. Then there's the false flag, where they're dressing up or acting like they're a different country, representing this country to create and agitate another one, to pin them against each other. Very, very effective. The instigating, method, divide and conquer. You're the good guy in the middle, kind of standing there. That also takes place. Then you have NGOs, which we saw a lot in the recent years. Then you have technological subversion, happened back in the days with the Promise software that Mossad used to gather intel and getting the data of what people were doing, where the money was being moved or not. That was back in the days. And there's many other ways, but let's stay on the blackmail here. A story for you in the insurance industry. One day, I'm meeting with a guy. We're in Beverly Hills. He tells me a story about this guy, what he's going through. There's a product in the insurance industry that became very popular. I don't want to say it, or else some people who follow my content, they'll know who I'm talking about, that was paying very high commission. And there was this one case where an agent stole a client from another guy. This guy's about to close it. He takes it away from him. $5-6 million commission. This guy's furious. He thinks he got lucky and he's bragging about it to everybody. This guy had 2 girls on his payroll. The girls weren't just any girls. They went, first he sent a detective to watch this guy's habits. Anybody that makes a lot of money, they typically have a habit and pattern. Same restaurant, same hotel, same bar, and they just kind of go there. The detective goes for 4 weeks, investigates what this guy does. Eventually they see the bar he goes to, at the bartender he deals with. Then they send the girl to be there at that time. She has a hotel room in that hotel. He's over there. During that time, the detective has set up cameras in her room upstairs. She's sitting there right next to him. He's ordering a drink. She starts crying. He asks what's wrong. She says, I'm so sorry. I don't want to share my information with you. What I'm going through, you probably have your own thing you're dealing with. She says, no, what's going on? I feel bad what you're going through. No, it's just my marriage, my husband, this, that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's like, oh, I'm like, what can I do something for you? She walks, I just don't want to be around anybody, right? I feel so uncomfortable. She's able to persuade him to go with him upstairs. They go upstairs, 1 glass of wine, 2 glasses of wine, 3 glasses of wine. Boom, everything happens, everything's recorded. He leaves thinking nothing just happened. She gets the tapes back to the other massive insurance agent with a lot of power. He takes that, sends it to him, says, if you sell that insurance policy to this person, I'm going to send this to everybody. He realizes it, doesn't sell it. He tells the client, I can't sell it. The other guy can do a better job. The guy ends up getting a $6 million check back. And that's just in the insurance space. So if you don't think blackmailing happens in business for a commission, you don't think it happens by government? I mean, this is intel for a commission check. You don't think they'll do blackmail to get a policy to not be passed, to get a company to buy, or a contract that we want, or this other person to not attack and don't go after this person? You don't think that happened? This has been going on for a very, very long time. You in your personal life have probably gone through it with somebody trying to do it to you when you were younger. Nowadays happens in school. Our kids go through it. This isn't something anybody is free from. And typically in these, let's just say RFK's case, the story, all the true, and all these stories about how, you know what's the best thing he needs to do? Do exactly what Jeff Bezos did in 2019 when they said, Jeff Bezos, we got these pictures from you. And I think it was a company right out of here in Boca, if I'm not mistaken, this National Enquirer, I think it was, coming out saying, well, we have this. I says, you know what? Guess what? You're not going to hold me hostage. Yes. Oh, shit. We can't do nothing now. You're right. You can't do nothing. I'm out. I'm not playing this game. Right? So there's power in going through that, Rob. Let me give you some stories here on what happens when we look at different space. Okay. J. Edgar Hoover, the mob. The mob had stories on him. You've seen this in many different stories, how he was a cross-dresser and at the time uncomfortable, didn't want anybody to know. This is a guy that ran the FBI for 50 years. And the mom would ask him and said, there's no such thing as crime families. There's no such thing as crime families. They wanted that. They got favors on the back end, and he had control of a lot of different people himself with CEOs, and he got deals done himself. They had that. Paul Castellano had a lot of blackmail on local business owners that were doing certain things, and he said, hey man, I know what you're doing. You better pay me this money here. Paul Castellano, the mob was doing it. Prince Andrew getting stuck with Epstein and Maxwell with the pictures coming out. Craig Spencer was a big GOP lobbyist. Apparently this guy would have a party at his place and everybody would come down, and there was cameras every room, and everything was, everything was wired, camera securities, and then all of a sudden at a certain point somebody would light up a joint or do a little bit of coke, or girls would show up, and then if you were willing to stay past that time, they had all the footage. And now he's got blackmail, and he controlled a lot of different people. This story, speculation on what happened with him. Another one on Lawrence E. King. Many stories like this are out there. Another one in the entertainment space, his name was Anthony Pellicano. He was a Hollywood infamous fixer and private investigator, worked for a lot of A-listers, where he would wiretap people and be able to kind of work them out to say, hey, I need this job, I need this contract, I need this, I need that. Later, I think he was convicted in 2008. Another one is, and I'm going to piss off some people that are friends of mine, Scientology. When you hear about, they would do this thing called auditing, where you would kind of expose all your challenges that you're going through in your personal life that were private, nobody knew about, and that was inventory to know if later on in life, if you choose to turn against Scientology, they got access to this, so they can hold you hostage. Or even the Catholic Church, the most basic thing, where you're going in there, you make a confession to who? You don't think there's you know what I'm saying? That's a great business model for confessions. This can go on and on and on. See, the question for me isn't if this is happening or not, and in what industry or space or politics or any of that. It's happening everywhere. Glenn Beck, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, he's talking about the fact that every time he goes to D.C. to meet with a congressman, they'll tell him, do you have your phone with you? Can you please put your phone aside? Matter of fact, here's a clip of him talking about it.
I've been to Washington, I don't know how many times in the last 5 years. I've had congressmen ask me, can you leave your cell phone outside? Let's go for a walk. You're carrying any electronics? Do you have an Apple Watch? No, I don't. Okay. And then they'll say, outside as we're walking quietly, the CIA is monitoring everything that we're doing in Congress. They're monitoring all of us. And 2 of them have told me, we've been threatened. Behind closed doors, we've been threatened by the CIA. That was a little scary to hear that. And I've heard it over and over and over again.
So let me get this straight. So CIA's boss is Congress, but Congress fears CIA? That's what Beck is talking about, the 2 congressmen? What do you mean CIA? By the way, do you believe it? I do. Who's more united? You think Congress, they're all united as a team? Or you think CIA is united? Congress is not united. They're fighting each other. They can't stand each other. CIA, they're all here. Most part, they're here because they all have intel and they have to act on that information. Sometimes they don't act. Sometimes acting is just going like this and saying, look what we got. What else did we do with all this intel? RICO was the way that they got a chance to go and investigate and get you to take the mob down. Great. Then you have the Patriot Act 01 after 9/11. Yeah, surveillance because protection. Like, whoa, what is next? Where are we going to go to next? The reality is today, with social media and cameras being everywhere, everybody's naked. Everybody. So, nowadays, a person could be a blackmail that's working for you. Nowadays, a person could be a blackmail that you're dating. Blackmail is everywhere now. So everybody is going through it today. Everybody. DMs is a form of a blackmail. How many girls are sharing who DM'd them and say, I don't know why this guy's DMing me right now? That's a form of blackmail. He is married and is DMing me right now. So the question then becomes, how do you manage this? Couple things I will tell you. For those who sit there, this has always been the case when I watch people very closely. Be very careful acting like you walk on water. Because when you come from a position of, I am perfect, and let me tell you who I am and what kind of a life I've lived and and all this other stuff, you have no idea what's going on behind closed doors. It's everywhere. What we're realizing is the following. We're realizing that we are all flawed and we all sin in a different way, and some sins are bigger than others, and some sins have a bigger price, could be career ending, could destroy everything you have. But in reality, even the perfect people that sometimes talk like they walk on water, God knows what you have in the closet that you're hiding to act like you're so perfect. I don't know what RFK is true, or this guy is true, or Johnson, or this, or that, all these other names. I don't know. I can tell you I want to know the list of Epstein. I can tell you I want to know what's going on with Kennedy, and I want to know the whole story. I want to know if CIA was behind it. I don't care what intelligence agency, if it's Israel, if it's UK, if it's us, if we did it, if it was a president. I want to know if it was LBJ. I want to know if it was whoever it was. At this point, we have plenty of information, but I want to know the intel. But I'm never, ever surprised. There's 3 words I wrote on my business plan this year, and it was called product, speed, and signal. Focus on improving the product yourself. Focus on signal, what direction you're going with your life, and focus on speed, doing things better, being more efficient. But you know what I call 2025? The year of surprises. Nothing will surprise me in 2025 because they're going to do everything and anything they can for Trump and his administration to not push through their agenda, because it means a lot of people's jobs and favor cards are on the line, and that scares the shit out of a lot of powerful people. That's my opinion on blackmail. If you got value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoyed this, I have an interview I did 6 years ago, nearly in front of the White House, with the former chief disguise officer of the CIA, who was married to another CIA agent. They were together, I think, for 28 years, or they were CIA agents for 28 years. Unbelievable story. I asked her, what qualities are great qualities of a CIA agent? She gave me 3 of them. I believe it was 3 of them. If you've never seen it, it's must-see podcast with Jonah Mendes. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.